Yo, what's up guys? Armored Core 6 review time. Let's go. Okay, so I had never played an Armored Core game before, right? I didn't know what I was expecting. It looked cool from the trailer. I mean, like giant mechs, firing lasers, pistols, shooting rockets, missiles, blowing stuff up. It looked cool. Like the trailer looked cool, and I was watching other people play it, and it looked cool as well. So you know what? I'm gonna jump into it as well. And it was really good, right? It was a very good time. I struggled.
How many? How many? It's like one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot, one shot. Oh, you know, one shot, one shot.
I jumped.
Like, why have no dash left?
I've played Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring, and I would say they're the most difficult games I've played. And this, I would say it topped those kind of games because there's a lot that goes on in them. Where like in Dark Souls 3, there's like a swing and like a slash, and then you roll it and then you attack. Like there are windows in Dark Souls and Elden Ring where you can do things. The windows are very tiny in Armored Core, which was quite a big learning experience. But I want to talk about the positives, and then I'll jump into what I think could change and the kind of like the negatives about the game as well, because not all games are perfect. But yeah, so let's just jump into the positives. Okay, so what I really like about the game is the movement. It feels really good. Once you're, obviously, because it is my first Armored Core game, I'm not used to the movement. So, you know, jumping over buildings, hovering, all that kind of thing.
You'll have to break its pulse armor to inflict meaningful damage.
But yeah, I got really punished in the game taking that build. And I did have to kind of switch things up a bit to kind of adapt around how to play the game. Like, again, like if a missile hits you and you are in that light build because your generator has run out of energy, that missile's going to really hurt. And it does really hurt. But yeah, other really good things about the game. You've got the movement, you've got the customizability, you've got the actual painting and all those kinds of things. Now you can play as a heavy mech if you want to. You've got those really heavy builds, slow but like super armored. You got like a medium build, you can get some guns on your shoulders, you get some laser pistols, you get dual normal pistols, you get like an assault rifle, you get 2 chain guns. Like customizability and how you want to play the game is fantastic. Nothing like I've ever seen before, right? You can really customize your mech and play how you want to play the game. The environments are really nice, right? They're stunning. Sometimes when you go into like later on in the game, you are on some of these platforms and you look out from the platforms, you're like, wow, there's these like falling buildings, you got these giant things up in space, you've got this huge environment that you're in. Like you do feel like a giant mech. Like you have these containers, these itty bitty containers on the floor. And I've stood next to some of these containers in real life. And I'm just like, okay, that's kind of tall. And then you got this thing and that container's like this to it. And you're like, oh, this thing's massive. So yeah, you do feel really big. And you, in the environment, the environment's really nice as well. Just for me, again, being my first Armored Core game, there was a little things that I would have liked to seen improved a bit more. Now, I wanted to, off the bat, I wanted to be like a kind of like an energy sword, agile mech.
Engage.
From the get-go, it's kind of like what I had an idea of in my brain place. Then when I got my first laser weapon, it felt very slow, which kind of sucked in that kind of standpoint, because I wanted the laser weapon to attack as if I was attacking like with a gun. So I fire and then the bullet comes out and hits the enemy. I attack with a laser sword, the sword comes out and I hit the enemy. But it's got a lot of anticipation time and animation time. Like you come in, you've hit the button to activate your energy sword, and it goes "Roar," and then he goes in and then he holds, then he attacks, and then he comes back down again. There's a lot of animation time, and I really felt this in fighting some of the bosses, because some of them are very agile and they don't give you a very small window to attack, and that small window to attack in is kind of cut by animation time with the energy sword. So I would have liked a bit of more of a reactive energy sword experience. Just yeah, that's what I would have wanted from that. This is maybe just a skill issue, and you can tell me in the comments if this is just a skill issue, but I suffer with this kind of locking system, not just on Armored Core, but on like Dark Souls and Elden Ring as well, is when the bosses and things move outside of your reticle. The reticle, when you was locked on it, like stops locking, and then he moves again, and then you don't know where he is, and then you fire over there, and you do those things. Especially with bosses that have high agility, it can't, like, you're looking for the boss more than you're actually fighting the boss itself, which is kind of feels a bit strange. Like, I would like, if I've locked onto the enemy as a super advanced mech, I would think that my locking system would be good enough just to, if it's gone behind me, that the camera kind of like goes behind me. Maybe that's something that I want, but I don't actually want, but I feel like I do want that because it makes it, I guess, a bit easier. So kind of removing that from the game makes it a bit harder, and you kind of have to track it yourself. Like, I get why it's not in the game, but I would like it to be in the game. Because, again, some of those bosses are really difficult. You know, they're flying past you. They're going over there. They're going over here. They activate the warp drive and they go over there. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to kind of track and shoot and then move out of their abilities as well. Looking at your health, looking at how much generator you have left, looking at, you know, because I had energy weapons, I had to make sure that their stagger time was kind of almost staggered. And then I let my weapons cool down, and then I shoot, stagger them, and then I just, you know, pound into it. There's a lot to focus on at some points, and just having that locking system on top is kind of a bit meh at the same time. I was running dual pistols before I found my dual lasers, so I was just running those dual, like, I don't know, Desert Eagles or whatever, and because they only have like 90 rounds in them, I found myself running out of ammo quite a lot, and it became very unviable to run those kind of builds. So what would have been nice is just supply points around the maps. Because if you think about it, if I'm going to attack an area of where the enemy is, they're going to have ammo as well. They're going to have supply points. So I would use their supply points to resupply my guns. I know kind of like how the game looks like it wants to work. Like, you kill enemies, you don't want to like loot to be dropping from them, because it's not that kind of game. So if you had pre-set up assembly points and resupply points, you'd be able to just like, okay, like I'm almost out of ammo, there's an enemy one, I can resupply from that and then load up my guns again just from those points. Because if I want to go around just killing everything like a giant mech that I want to do, I'm out of ammo then, and there's like another like kind of like a mini boss in front of me and I don't have enough ammo to kill it, then I'm just like, I'm just punching it until it's dead, you know what I mean? Which, you know, doesn't always work. So I would like some like mini resupply points around the map. That would be great. Resupply points as well. You have resupply points just before boss fights, which is great. Like, I love that. But what would be nice is to be able to do a refit, because some of my build was like, okay, I've got like a boss fighting build, and then like I've got a kind of like running around killing other mech builds throughout the level. I would like there to be an assembly point and an option, instead of just giving you your resupply back, be like, okay, now I can change my fit from a, you know, running around mech to a boss fighting mech just before the arena. Like, I can set up for it. I would like that before I start. Now, some things that I'd also like added into the game as well. I would love there to be a two-handed katana. I'm not gonna lie to you, that would be so so cool. If you could just like go around with like a two-handed laser katana, just like chopping things in half, I think would be a really cool addition to the game. And as well, for someone who likes lighter builds, you're I wouldn't say you're punished for it, but there isn't much of a variety as there are as like a medium to heavy build. Because in the light build, you do have the energy swords, but they do kind of feel a bit sluggish, like I said a minute ago. I like to run dual wielded pistols as well, and there's only a few of those in the game. Again, I am kind of still unlocking everything as I go through. I mean, like, I have completed the game, but I'm kind of like still unlocking everything. So there may be more dual pistols still, but from what I've seen so far, there's about four, and only one of them is an energy weapon. Like, I think not having giant dual magnums is a bit of a miss. I think that would be kind of cool to go around with two like 6-shooters. I don't know, kind of Western, kind of cool. I don't know, kind of sound, yeah. And I would like maybe like 2, maybe 3 more variants of some laser pistols. Maybe like some semi-automatic laser pistols, or some like really heavy hitting laser pistols, because you only get the VP's laser pistols. Kind of feels very limiting, and you get those kind of at the start of the game as well. Yes, they are powerful enough after you've kind of upgraded your energy weapons. They can carry you through the game, but you do really feel the weapons damage drop off throughout the game, especially on bosses. Though they do absolutely destroy like mobs and like the helicopters and like anything throughout the area, and especially like the mini bosses that attack you as well. They just shred them. But once you're fighting bosses, you really kind of see why you need 300 to 400 rounds in those energy pistols, and why you can't do it with 90 rounds in the normal pistols when you're fighting those bosses, because they obviously like just don't do the damage that you need them to do. Okay, so just a quick overview. I really enjoyed the game, right? I had a great time in it. I mean, it took me, okay, so spoiler. It took me 12 hours to kill Bolteus, number 1. I'm ashamed of it, okay? I'm ashamed of it. And then it took me 6 hours to kill Bolteus Mark 2. And then it took me, like, what, about 4 or 5 hours to kill Ibis. But those bosses, I feel, are kind of crazy. There's a lot in them, and that's what I was talking about, the camera tracking stuff. And they do a lot of damage as well. But, again, they are kind of just what the game is, and you just kind of adapt around them. But yeah, no guys, I really enjoyed the game, and if you're thinking about getting it, I would definitely recommend getting the game. It is a fantastic game. There's so many ways to play the game. There's loads of different styles. There's things to find in the game as well, so you know, go out, go find them, use your scans, go find them, go test different builds, go find your play style, how you want to play the game. I would really recommend going to buy it, honestly, 100%. And but yeah, no, I think that's it for the video. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Please like and subscribe, guys. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. And I'll see you in the next one.